Colby Rasmus, the DH. Tim Beckham is at short. Daniel Robertson, the second baseman, hits eighth, and Derek Norris, the catcher, will bat ninth.
Well, taking the mound this afternoon for the Detroit Tigers is going to be right-hander Buck Farmer. And as you look at his season numbers, interesting start here. First two starts for Buck Farmer, he was absolutely flawless. He pitched into the seventh inning in his first two starts, did not give up an earned run. However, his last outing, he lasted just 2 1/3 innings, 9 hits, 6 earned against the Arizona Diamondbacks. So he will be looking to bounce back here this afternoon. Let's take a look at the defense and see how it's going to line up. Behind him, brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. And in that outfield left to right, we have Justin Upton, Alex Presley, and J.D. Martinez. Across the infield third to first, Nick Castellanos, Dixon Machado, Ian Kinsler, and Miguel Cabrera, with James McCann behind the plate.
And our Toyota inside look. Malik Smith again in the leadoff spot. And you look, 18 games in this year, the first 9, 261, good enough. On base at 346, but the last 9, he has really picked up the offense.
Well, that is when he came in and started to fill in for Kevin Kiermaier when he went down with the injury. And he has shown us everything that you would want to see out of a leadoff hitter at this level. You know, the bunt hits, the stolen bases, working long at bats, on base percentage, occasional power, extra base hit. He has been absolutely fantastic out of that leadoff spot the last week and a half.
Well, Malik Smith in the game yesterday, out of the leadoff spot, had what turned out to be the game-winning hit, driving in the go-ahead run in the 7th inning, and the Rays held on to win. All set to play ball. Here is Buck Farmer on the hill, and the first pitch to Malik Smith is upstairs. So we are underway. 78 degrees here. Rain delayed 31 minutes, and it's gorgeous right now. High pop fly toward the line a bit and right, and J.D. Martinez is there making the catch. One away.
Well, Buck Farmer, pretty standard stuff. He's going to come at you. Fastball, slider, changeup, curveball. Not overpowering. Sit in the low 90s. Occasionally creep up close to the mid 90s. And he's another guy that will work the ball around the strike zone. Fastball, slider heavy against righties. Fastball, changeup heavy against lefties.
Here's Corey Dickerson. Corey running 5th in the league in hitting at 324. And misses the fastball, strike one. Tied for the league lead in total hits with 88. Dickerson held to 2 hits in this series, an RBI triple in the opening game, had a base hit in the other game.
And you know what we're starting to see, because Corey Dickerson is really such a free swinger, is teams now aren't even going out there and throwing him first pitch strikes. They're going to the fringes of the strike zone and trying to get him to chase from the first pitch of the at bat, and it's being successful.
By the mound, Kinsler cannot make the pickup. And the Rays have a base hit, an infield hit here for Dickerson.
Well, how about that? 2 great, actually 3 really good pitches there by Buck Farmer. This thing ends up, I mean, down, but Corey Dickerson able to get the bat to it, chop it right off the plate, and once it got by Farmer, that's a base hit.
Castellanos over there with the shift on for Dickerson, and he could not make the play. So the infield hit puts a man aboard with 1 out for Evan Longoria. Rays start this day a game over 500, running 3rd in the American League East. The Tigers start 3 under, and they are running 3rd, tied for 3rd in the AL Central. Cut and a miss by Evan. Evan missed the fastball. Dickerson at first base, back in. Farmer, 26 years old. He was originally drafted by the Braves back in 2009. He was a 46th round pick by Atlanta and decided to go to college instead of signing. Now he's ahead of Longoria 0-2, and it turned out to be a pretty good decision. The Tigers then in 13 made him a 5th round pick.
Well, he's a big guy, 6'4", 225. That's like the perfect pitcher's build. Not a pure power guy, but definitely can come downhill at you.
It's a ball and 2 strikes. Foul out of play. Farmer out of Conyers, Georgia, wound up at Georgia Tech, and then after he signed with the Tigers, being drafted in 13, at the end of 14, with limited minor league experience and most of that in A ball, and started that year in the low A ball, he made his major league debut.
Well, he's gotten some time the last 3 seasons, now 4th season with the Tigers in different roles. He's gotten some starts. He's pitched out of the bullpen.
You know, he went from starting that year in 13 in the low A ball, pitching maybe in front of a few hundred people, and his debut was in front of over 41,000 when he broke in. And he said what he was thinking about, and a voice he heard on the mound, maybe appropriate for Father's Day, was the voice of his dad, who, when he was a young pitcher, told him to keep everything down. Well, there's a ground ball to short, and Dickerson is forced Machado to Kinsler. And Longoria reaches on a fielder's choice, so to shut out all of that 41,000 and make your debut and hear your dad's voice while you're out there on the mound saying, just keep it down.
That's good advice, you know.
Yep.
Reminds me of the advice that Jimmy Dugan once gave a couple of youngsters. That was good advice too.
It was. Logan Morrison up here. Morrison with 19 home runs. And a cut and a miss, strike 1. One on, 2 away, and a strike to count. Morrison tied for 2nd in home runs with 19, in the top 10 in runs batted in. One ball, 1 strike. A little tap back foul. It's 1-2. A good part of the runs batted in by Morrison have come via the home run. In fact, 30 of the 44 runs batted in produced on the long ball.
That is a high percentage.
And there's a long one deep into right field. Martinez back, and that one is going to be out of here. A home run called by Ben May. The first base umpire going down the right field line. And that will be number 20 for Logan Morrison. Well, that ball shot back out onto the field, but over the yellow line out there for a home run.
Yeah, there's railings above the fence out there in right field, and that's what it went off of. And well, there's that percentage has gone up. 2 more RBIs, both via the home run here in the first inning, and Logan Morrison continues to close in on his career high of 23 home runs. He could have that before the All-Star break. My goodness.
Behind in the count, Morrison hits one out. There's Steven Souza Jr. taking a strike. Two. Yeah, Morrison hit 23 home runs back in 2011. Since then, he's had seasons of 11, 6 an injured season, 11, 17, 14 last year for the Rays, and he has 20 home runs right now.
He's another one of those guys that has focused more on getting the ball in the air. He's really drawn back his ground ball percentage, trying to get the ball airborne, trying to hit that bottom side, create some backspin, and boy, is it paying off.
A little close right there to Souza Jr. 2-2 the count.
And that's the trend throughout baseball. I mean, that's just what is going on right now. The number of home runs per game is at its highest level of all time. Now, will that hold? We'll see.
Home runs and strikeouts are just on the run.
That's it. It's an all or nothing game right now.
And Souza Jr. out on strikes. So the Rays are finished in the top of the first, but they plate 2 on one swing of the bat from Logan Morrison, his 20th home run of the year. 2-0 Tampa Bay. Logan Morrison has given the Rays a 2-0 lead. We'll take a look at the starting lineup for the Tigers, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Ian Kinsler again leading off. Alex Avila will be the DH. The first baseman Miguel Cabrera hits third. J.D. Martinez in right. The cleanup man Justin Upton in left. Nick Castellanos at third base. Alex Presley in center. James McCann will do the catching. He'll at 8th, and Dixon Machado at shortstop today, hitting 9th.
Looking to continue his impressive start is right-hander Jacob Faria. 2 starts, a perfect record, giving up just 2 earned runs in 12 2/3 innings of work, go along with 13 strikeouts.
First pitch is upstairs, 1-0. 2 impressive outings for Faria to begin his major league career. Good cut by Kinsler as he fouls it back. Kinsler in the leadoff spot. An immediate home run threat for the Tigers.
He's gotten the Rays a couple of different times this season, leading off a ball game. 43 times in his career.
This pitch bit outside.
Friday night, Erasmo Ramirez, you could see that swing. It lends itself to the home run. He's got a severe uppercut. Not your typical leadoff hitter. So we tend to say that a lot.
2-2. Yeah, you start to look at guys leading off now and hitters batting second. They are not typical, historically speaking. But boy, are they reading out some damage.
Putting the pitcher on notice right from the get-go. You know who is the prototypical leadoff hitter? The Rays. Going back in time.
Yeah, Malik Smith.
Yeah.
He's a guy you said, sure.
Yep.
He put him at leadoff immediately. And then all things considered now, the idea, I think, for him was if he made the club that he might hit 9th and be like your second leadoff guy to turn the lineup over. But his game is exactly that. 3-2 now to Kinsler.
And you start to think now about the damage that Corey Dickerson has done, and he doesn't nearly have as many RBIs as he should for the number of extra base hits that he has. So you got Malik Smith getting on base in front of him. Well, guess what? Those numbers for Dickerson, should improve moving down just that one spot.
High popper off the bat of Kinsler. This is Robertson tracking that one, and he makes the catch.
Well, let's take a look at the Rays defense, brought to you by our good friends at Gold and Diamond Source. And that in the outfield, you've got Corey Dickerson, Malik Smith, and Steven Souza Jr. And then across that infield, third to first, Longoria, Beckham, Robertson, and Morrison. Derek Norris behind the plate.
The point you make about Dickerson is a good one with this move of having a hitter like him in the 1 or 2nd spot, because you'd really like that guy to drive someone in besides himself.
Right.
And there is an issue there, and in trying to evaluate exactly how you construct a lineup, that's part of what goes into making those decisions. It's great to have a guy up there who can give you an immediate lead, but he's also a guy, if you get 1 or 2 guys on base, he can give you a 3-run lead instead of a 1-run lead.
Yep, I think that's going to play so very well. And there was a time there, and it still may be the case, but there was a time there that the majority of the home runs for the Rays came out of the leadoff spot.
Line drive into center, and Smith plays it on one hop, and something like that, a line drive right at him, that's given him issues. He tries to be quick to it, and sometimes essentially overplays it. Managed to stop that one.
He did, and I'll tell you, it's amazing how when you struggle with something, this game finds a way to test you. Here's a line drive right here at Malik Smith, and that ball's going to get over his head. Didn't get a very good read on it off the bat. He's had a couple that have come up short on him where there's some hesitation right there. And then he's had some that he's actually over pursued and gotten too close to. And once he realizes he's, too far in, that ball's caroming off him and guys are taking extra bases. So that has been an issue. And it's amazing how many times it's come up here just in the last week or so.
1-0 the count here to Cabrera. Yeah, and you wonder, it'll be interesting to see his progress, because he is, as we've discussed before, an earnest young man who's going to do everything he can to be as good as he can be. And you would anticipate that the issue that he's had in center field is not something that he's going to shy away from. He's going to try to figure out how to make it work out there. 1-1 to count on Cabrera. And you get the feeling, the distinct feeling, that he's willing to do whatever it takes to improve his game in whatever area it needs to be addressed. So we'll see how that works, but he has had some difficulties out there.
No question. But all the little tips that he will get from the Rays coaching staff, and you start to talk about, you know, playing the outfield, specifically center field in his case, because that's where those line drives are toughest. It'll go in that notebook, and it will not be forgotten.
Foul off the base of the stands and right back out in front of the plate. That hit the concrete base there and ricocheted out. Avila's the runner at first with that base hit to center. Cabrera at the plate. Two balls, two strikes. Down and away. Backhanded stop by Norris.
That was quite the backhand there by Derek Norris. Jacob Faria really jumped on a slider there, trying to make a perfect pitch, and he yanks it. Watch Derek Norris. Okay, you anticipate there's nothing he could have done as far as sliding over that far, but he flips the old glove around and makes a nifty little stop.
Well, Norris has caught now all three of Faria's starts, so he has a pretty good feel for Faria's pitches. Runner goes, and that is ball 4. Pushing Avila up to second. Cabrera draws a walk.
That's a tough one too, because you were able to work hard early to get out in front of Cabrera 1 and 2, and then 3 straight misses, and now you've got a little bit of trouble here brewing.
And a visit from Norris with Avila second, Cabrera first. J.D. Martinez carries a .310 average into play. 11 home runs and 26 runs batted in. And there is a ball. See Martinez in June hitting .352 with 3 of his 11 home runs coming this month. And it's foul back.
Boy, he got a pitch to hit there. That's right in his juice zone. You know, this is a guy that has power everywhere. Right field, left field, straightaway center, and he got one down and out over the plate, thigh high, right where he likes it, and missed it.
Martinez really found himself as a hitter here in Detroit. Ball 2 strikes.
Good slider there, a little change of pace, give him something else to think about. And here he's worked himself into another 1 and 2 count.
Martinez came over, hit 23 home runs in 2014, and then in 15 hit 38 home runs here, 22 last year, 11 this year. fouls it away.
You know, he missed the first 6-7 weeks of the season, had a sprained foot. Come back in and has put up some big numbers here for the Tigers. So is this gentleman right here, Justin Upton.
Pitch up and in, out of the zone, 2-2. And a miss right there. So it's 3-2 now. And Chris Conroy, 42 years old, working the plate, and we've seen him in the past with a left-handed hitter up there. He tends to give that strike down, but with a right-handed hitter, he doesn't give that pitch a lot. If you go down and on the outer part of the zone to a right-handed hitter, you better be on the plate with him. And a cut and a miss. Well, the old fastball basically right down the middle.
Yeah, and you wonder how J.D. Martinez missed that. He fouled off his pitch earlier in the at-bat, and getting back into some trouble there with the full count. Jacob Faria is not going to mess around. He's going to come right back with that fastball, and you're right, that was a hittable fastball, needed to be in a full count, but he's able to power it right by him.
And now Justin Upton, who, as you pointed out, is having a very good year. 43 runs batted in, and that's reflected in his average with men in scoring position. He's hitting .265 overall, .355 with men in scoring position. And the pitch to him is a ball.
Right, good always to save your best for when it matters the most. That's what has led to the 43 runs batted in. He leads this team with 13 home runs.
There's a liner into center, one hop in front of Smith. Avila on his way to the plate. The throw's wide to the plate. And Upton comes through again for Detroit. This one will make it a 2-1 game. Avila scores from second, and the Tigers are on the board to cut the Rays' lead in half.
Boy, stayed right inside that fastball that was headed down and in. Look how he gets the bat down, the barrel on it. And all those numbers are going to rise. The batting average, runners in scoring position, runs batted in goes up by 1, and Justin Upton and the Tigers here have answered.
44th run batted in for Upton. Runners still at first and second. Cabrera now the runner at second. Upton at first. Nick Castellanos in the batter's box. Strike one.
That's where a breaking ball is, you know, so bad that you get away with the strike. Nick Castellanos thought that he was getting a hanging breaking ball, and he was, but it was hanging up around the letters, the shoulders. The curveball right there just never came down, and he still gets the chase, strike one.
Foul out of play. 0-2.
Well, we've seen here in the early going, Faria not afraid to challenge you with the fastball. Comes right after you. That is what made him so successful in his first 2 starts. Coming downhill, no fear to throw that pitch out over the plate. And then once that is established, here comes the slider, the changeup, the curveball. He's got options.
Up with the fastball well out of the zone. 1-2. Skied to right center, not overly deep, and Souza Jr. makes the catch. 1 run scores. We've gone through an inning. Rays 2, Detroit 1. Brought to you by your local Ford dealer. By Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. By Jeep, get great deals at the Jeep Spring Clearance event. And by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. Fathers celebrated pregame here in Detroit, lining the entire field on this Father's Day, as both teams outfitted in Father's Day blue.
I love the look of these unis. I love the hats.
Blue lettering on the jerseys.
Yes. And how about the baseballs today? Have blue stitching.
Yeah, that's great.
Baseball showing a little bit of personality. Kind of like it.
Now Rasmus takes a strike. It's 1-1. Let's a look at the cap worn by the Rays on Father's Day. That's a good look. Good combination. Even played umpire Chris Conroy with that mask in the Father's Day spirit.
I still haven't gotten that Memorial Day hat for my father yet, and I'm hearing about it.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's the one he wants. Yeah. Those are great looking caps. Pop to the left side, foul ball. That will be playable. It's Machado, the shortstop, getting over there and right up against the stands.
Yeah, had to go a long way. Not the easiest of angles. And oh, by the way, there are people and a small, short wall there. So a tremendous amount of concentration by Dixon Machado, and he makes a nice play.
Now the Rays shortstop, Tim Beckham, at the plate. The little tapper will be fouled and stay that way.
You know, just imagine that. You think about these outfielders and how fearless they play and, you know, running for pop-ups down the line. You're running, concentrating on a baseball. You're running at a tough angle. Your eyes can't leave the baseball, but you know you're getting closer and closer and closer to that wall. You can feel it coming. You know, that's interesting when you think about some of these guys. And, you know, Kiermaier, Souza Jr., these Rays outfielders just would give up their body to make a catch for their pitcher.
Yeah, and you have to be able to measure your steps once you hit that track to give yourself some idea, and then it's difficult to do that as well because you're concentrating on not losing sight of that baseball. That
is, yeah, so difficult.
Tap to short, scoop by Machado, and his throws in time to get Beckham.
And by the way, that's not much of a warning track. It's a step and a half, and then you're eating the outfield wall.
Yeah. So the bases are empty. Daniel Robertson will bat. Robertson hitting 8th in the Rays lineup. Comes in with a .222 average. But he is not an easy out up there. The chopper foul. And he had a big day yesterday. The Geico great moment. He drove in 2 runs, had a base hit to center in the 5th inning. He chased home Rasmus and then a base hit in the 8th. That got Souza Jr. home. Up the game even. And then he scored the go-ahead run. 0-2 count.
And you look at where those 2 hits were. The first one was a hanging slider. He takes it right back up the middle. And then the second base hit, you know, Fulmer's trying to come in on it. And he's able to pull his hands through quick, get the barrel to it, and hit it hard to the right side. And not get it by Kinsler, but force him to make such a difficult play that he just wasn't able to. Well, when guys start to use the middle of the field, that's when they become very dangerous.
And he's out on strikes. A 1-2-3 inning for Farmer. On to the bottom of the 2nd. It's 2-1 Tampa Bay.
Being a father is unique. You know, being able to go home and relax, and he has that unconditional love for you that you kind of forget about baseball and the stresses of the world, and it's nothing like being a father.
Corey Dickerson out there in left field getting a chance to start. Had an infield hit his first time up. We go to the bottom of the 2nd. And the Tigers center fielder Alex Presley will lead off. The bottom three in the order: Presley, McCann, and then Machado coming up here. First pitch is a high fastball out of the zone. 1-0. 275 on the year for Presley. It's a one-hop grab by Robertson, who turns and throws to first. And a nice play by the young infielder.
Yes, it was. That ball was hard hit by Alex Presley. And Daniel Robertson, a nice feel for the position. He starts to back up, give himself a little bit more room, give himself a little bit better of a hop on the glove side. And he takes what could have been a very difficult play and makes it look relatively routine. It was nothing like that.
He does have a comfort level on a play like that that maybe betrays his age a little bit. You know, for a young infielder, he was a nice job. Here's McCann, the catcher. The first pitch is a strike.
You know, those decisions are made. They're split-second decisions. You know, the ball off the bat, you either stay put, you charge, or you retreat to get a better hop. And you got to make that decision right now. And that's what you talk about, having a feel.
This ball's going to be out of play. Advance the count to 2 strikes.
And the way that you get good at that, obviously playing games, of course, but the amount of work these guys put in before games, you know, as youngsters growing up. How many ground balls do you think Daniel Robertson has fielded around the, around the infield?
That's right.
Thousands upon hundreds of thousands. It becomes second nature.
Swing and a miss, and McCann is out on strikes.
Now that's what Faria can do when he pitches ahead in the count. That's not been the case.
That first inning, he was only 1 of 6 with first pitch strike.
And then Alex Presley was a first, so 1 out of his first 7. He's out of the zone. But when he gets ahead, you can get a hitter to expand his zone, and there it's on the fastball up. Now wait till he introduces the change, that little split change that's going to be down in the zone.
Dixon Machado, the shortstop. The first pitch is a strike. It's a ground ball, and it's going to sneak to the left of Beckham. Robertson tried to back it up, and with both those middle infielders away from the bag at second, Longoria went down there just in case to cover.
Well, Beckham's going to dive. It's going to go off of his glove, redirected. How in the world did Machado sneak that through the shift? But you're right, second base unoccupied. Someone's got to get there.
Now the top of the order, Ian Kinsler. No ball, no strikes. And again, down a bit. 2-0. See that pitch right there? A borderline pitch down around that strike zone. And Conroy, that's not one of his favorite pitches to call a strike.
I don't understand that. I would think, and it has really, well.
Liner into center field.
Yes.
Will be caught by Smith. Mallex Smith grabbed that line drive, a man left, and we're going to go to the third. It's 2-1. 3rd. Vote today, vote tomorrow, vote Rays for your 2017 All-Stars with the Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. Vote at RaysBaseball.com/vote and catch all of the excitement of the 88th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 11th live on Fox. Corey Dickerson having that all-star worthy year. Here's Derek Norris swinging and missing the first fastball from Farmer. Rays got to him. A 2-run homer by Logan Morrison in the first. Farmer followed that up with a 1-2-3 10-pitch second inning. He's ahead of Norris. 1-1. Now a ball, 2 strikes.
Farmer got away with a hanger right there in the middle of the plate. Derek Norrison with a big cut and a miss.
Now, most of these Rays, in fact, all of them except Rasmus, seeing Farmer for the first time. Rasmus came in nothing out of 2 against him, and that's it.
So I always like to see, first of all, what's your approach when the game starts, the first time you go through that lineup? What adjustments will you make after having seen him for the first time? And so that's what you really look forward to with this Rays lineup. Because he's been very good this year, like we were talking about at the beginning of the game. You know, pitching into the 7th inning, no runs his first 2 starts. Got banged up his last one against the Diamondbacks.
And a shot back into left field. Upton will look up, and that one will get out of here. A shot off the bat of Norris's bat. And the Rays had another run, the 8th home run of the year for Norris.
Not going to miss another hanging slider. He missed one, and usually that's all you're going to see. Not the case. He gets another one. That one's actually a better slider, but still up enough that Norris, look at how he gets out and around that. That back knee almost coming down and touching the dirt.
I'll tell you, that ball missiled out of here.
Listen, there's something going on with these baseballs and with these home runs, because it is the level of home runs. Well, how many home runs were hit yesterday? 56 homers.
Yeah, more.
In 16 games.
Yeah.
Almost a record for most, you know. And by the way, the Rays of all teams didn't have one.
Yeah, it's been a couple games since the Rays have hit a home run, which is big news this year.
It really is, especially when records are being set left and right.
The bunt attempt by Malik Smith, and it's foul. 0-2.
Right now you're averaging over 2.5 home runs a game. Doesn't sound like much, but the record was 2.34, and that was set back in 2000, back in the steroid era.
Well, you see the Yankees with 108, the Rays, Nationals, and the Astros each with 106. Smith fouls it.
You know, and you're right, Dwayne, when you describe that home run by Norris. That's a slider that's on the outside corner that he's going out and reaching for, and missile. Didn't kiss the, you know, on the way down a wall scraper. That was a home run, the original dimensions here, which are huge.
Smith takes it down. So it's a ball, 2-strike count.
It's windy in this booth, and I'm getting tired of it.
Something's happening. Yeah, apparently the wind is not blowing out.
No.
It's blowing into the booth, which would be the opposite direction of the way the Rays catcher Derek Norris hit his home run. Papers flying everywhere, and baseballs. And a chop to the second baseman Kinsler. Smith out at first, 1 away. restore some order to the booth here.
You got to have paperweights on everything.
Corey Dickerson will be the hitter. Yeah, 56 homers hit in 16 games yesterday, third most of any day in Major League history.
Incredible. And you just wonder, as now it started to heat up. You know, you're getting out of April where it's cold, the conditions aren't as conducive to the long ball, and you get into the summer months. You may break that 2 or 3 more times. You may end up setting the record for the most ever in one day.
Now the count's 0-2 on Dickerson, and as we alluded to earlier in the telecast, home runs up, strikeouts up. Yesterday, 289 strikeouts in those 16 games, the second highest single day total this year, to 293 on the 10th of June. So, I mean, there you are, just a few days apart, a week and a day.
Yeah, and guess what? I remember June 10th. June 10th, everybody played. That's, you know, whatever, 30 teams, 15 games, a couple doubleheaders that day.
Yep.
And the Rays were a part of it. And that's why you got the higher number, because you had more games.
There you go.
Yesterday there was a doubleheader, Cleveland, Minnesota, which is why it was 16 games. But still, I mean, yeah, it's become really an all or nothing league. There's no doubt about it.
Pumped up foul out of play.
And really, an increase in an increase in home runs typically will lead to an increase in strikeouts, because you're swinging for it.
Yeah.
You're going for it, which means the swings will get long, the swings are going to miss, and strikeouts go up.
Who takes the count to 2-2.
Okay.
Nice save there, by the way.
That was a nice catch. I'll take it.
Things flying everywhere.
Trying to hand you these little cards with little tidbits of sweet info.
Yeah.
And it's like it's snowing in here.
A 2-2 count on Dickerson, who singled, had an infield hit in the first. He came in tied with Starlin Castro for the most hits in the league. Now he's one up on him. And there's a liner over the head of Machado, and that's been fairly vintage Dickerson here this year.
You're not kidding. You know, down in the count, but look at the pitch location. If you're Farmer, you're saying, where do I have to throw it? Well, you know, you say, well, maybe I should bounce it. Well, he hit those too. That's a good pitch. There's nothing wrong with that pitch. That's a great pitch to try to put a guy away. And look at Corey Dickerson lengthen the swing and just find a way to get the ball in play. Finds another open area, another multi-hit game. You can go on and on about this guy.
Up to 90 hits on the year. Now Evan Longoria. There goes Dickerson. Swing and a miss, and safe at second base. Dickerson picks up steal number 2 on the year. For the Rays, their 41st of the season.
And here it is, a breaking ball, swing and a miss, up and out. Boy, that's awfully close, but Dickerson sliding right to the front edge of that bag and no further. A little pop-up slide, and I think he got there. I think that initial swipe tag missed him.
And the Tigers trying to figure out what they want to do in regard to this call.
Yeah, no, he's in there, and he never came off. So, see right there, hits the ground, and then up it comes. I don't know what's taking so long. He's safe.
Yeah, it's almost as if Kinsler caught the ball and would go down with the tag. He tagged too early, brought the glove up, and after that, Dickerson went in to the bag safely.
Yeah, that That whole thing was goofy, but what it told us was he didn't tag him.
That's
so
exactly
let's
right.
move along.
Yeah. Oh, wait, we need a conference on the mound before
Right,
we move along.
Meetings.
Yeah, that, I think most people would reasonably agree that meetings could be the affliction of modern society, at least one of them.
It lets people know that you're doing something, and it's a complete and utter waste of time. It's like some of the emails that you get. You're like, are you just trying, are you sending me this email to prove that you're alive? Because there's nothing in it. Is this just, are you checking in?
Well, maybe the catcher should email the pitcher instead of walking all the way out there to have a meeting.
Someday. There are tablets in the dugout, Dwayne.
Yeah.
There are tablets in the dugout. Someday that could happen. Instant message.
A little tapper foul.
Direct message your pitcher. Changing the signs. Little buzz. You just look down at your device.
By the way, it's with this Detroit ball clubs, one of the clubs slowing things down, and they're saying, look, people are trying to steal signs, and so that's why they have multiple signs, and then they'll change to go to another set of signals and do it again because there's concern over base runners stealing pitches. Oh, that pitch coming in on Longoria and hits him. So he'll head to first. And the Rays will have men at first and second with one out.
Fastball gets away from him. I'm going to ride up and in. And there was nothing that Evan can do. No chance of getting out of the way of that one. You just try to roll that arm and minimize the damage. Still look like it hurt.
Yeah. Happy that you at least had some protection there around the elbow. 2 on for Logan Morrison, who already has hit a home run in this game. His 20th of the year. Outside, ball 1. Here's a look at that first inning home run.
Trying to come up and in. You better get it to your spot. Powerful. Right on there's off the railing we were talking about.
Now 2-0. '26-year-old right-hander Buck Farmer making his 4th start of the year for Detroit. Rays have 3 runs off him, 4 hits, and an opportunity for more here in the 3rd. The fastball is down, and it's a 3-0 count.
It looked like it should be like 8-0.
Yeah, it was a disconcerting thing to see up there at that moment. 3-0 though. And there is ball 4. So Farmer, after the home run in the first, walks Morrison on 4 pitches. We've confirmed that it was 4
in a row.
And the bases are loaded.
Yeah, now you find yourself into big trouble. Steven Souza Jr. here strolling to the plate. The Rays have a chance for a big inning.
Well, the bases are loaded. Steven Souza Jr. will be the hitter. And Farmer is going to get a visit. Well, the Tigers pitching coach out there talking it over. It's the toy trend sweeping the nation. Make sure to get your hands on a Rays spinner Kids 14 and under will get their very own Rays spinner presented by TGH Children's Medical Center when they join the Rays on Sunday, June 25th for the game against the Orioles. Visit RaysBaseball.com today. Chad Bell, big left-hander up in the bullpen. And the pitch to Souza Jr. is a fastball too close, 1-0, and Farmer's struggling.
Yes, he is struggling with command, and that's what the Tigers have recognized, and that's why you see action already down in the pen. And the Rays have a chance to already, with a 2-run lead, bases loaded, a guy that is not finding the strike zone, or at least the good parts of the strike zone, and now, well, that's 6 in a row.
And a 2-0 count to Souza Jr.
Second long inning here for Farmer after that first.
Two and one. Three-1 the score. Dickerson's at third. Longoria's on second. Morrison is at first. Hot shot, look out. That one ducked by Dickerson down there at third. Line foul down the third base side. Heads up.
Or down.
In this case, down.
That's it. Well, you've got to be ready when you come down in foul territory, and those eyes can never leave the flight of that baseball, because a guy, that's where you see where Charlie Montoya is. He's not going to mess around. He's got to look at his
high fly ball back into deep left. Upton will go back, and this baby's going to get out of here. Grand slam for Steven Souza Jr. On a 2-2 pitch. Souza Jr. unloads his 13th home run of the year. It's a grand slam. Third home run of the day for the Rays already. It's a 5-run inning, and the Rays now lead 7-1.
The Tigers trying to get the bullpen ready quickly so this game didn't get out of hand. Steven Souza Jr. wouldn't let him. On his own, hanging slider, another one. And he absolutely crushes this, a towering blast, and has blown this thing wide open.
He hit that one into the stands over the bullpens. A grand slam for Souza Jr. Rays celebrate in the dugout, and the Tigers will change pitchers. Lead on the first career grand slam by Steven Souza Jr., who sends that one out to his dad. And the Rays have built this 7-1 lead. Third grand slam the Rays have hit this year, and the first for Steven Souza Jr. Chad Bell, the lefty, the new pitcher, facing Colby Rasmus. 1 ball, no strikes. And a breaking ball in there for a strike. The other grand slams are hit by Morrison and Rasmus. So far, the Rays have hit a grand slam a month. Cut and a miss. Now 1 and 2. Morrison hit one in April of Rick Porcello at Fenway. And Rasmus hit one off Peter Moylan against the Royals on the 10th of May. And here in June, the grand slam belongs to Steven Souza Jr. And Rasmus is out on strikes. Thought he checked on a pitch low, and that's a strike.
Yeah, Chris Conroy jumped right on that breaking ball, slider down and away. And you see that's a borderline. He's taking it right out there, but Chris Conroy was right on top of it, pointed and said that he went too far for the second out. Chad Bell, fastball, changeup, curveball, slider. He's got all 4, and obviously the going over to the left-handed side. Lefties have given Rays trouble, and I think that's what they're thinking in that dugout, the Tiger dugout. Brad Ausmus is thinking, okay, another hit, and I'm getting this lefty in here before this game gets out of hand, and try to slow him down just a little bit. Didn't count on that hit being a home run.
Pitch wide. It's 2-0. So 2 1/3 for Farmer. 5 hits, 7 runs, couple of strikeouts, a walk, a hit batter, and 3 home runs in the 61 pitches. That's a shot to first. Cabrera's got it. Lloyd Beckham thought he had an extra base hit there, and Cabrera got the mitt down to make the catch. Rays are out in the 3rd, but it's a big 3rd. They score 5. 4 on the slam by Souza. It's 7-1 Tampa Bay. Coming on the grand slam by Steven Souza Jr. This Saturday, the Rays face the Orioles, and fans receive a Kevin Kiermaier Star Wars bobblehead presented by Tech Data, and get to meet some of the favorite Star Wars characters. Visit RaysBaseball.com today. Rays up.
You know, Dwayne, in order to stay consistent throughout this series, just to give a kiss cam update.
Yes.
We were perfect once again.
A good one again today.
No rebuttals. I shouldn't say rebuttals, refusals.
Yep. You know, it's always awkward when those refusals are popped up there. Here's Alex Avila to lead off the bottom of the third. The pitch is down. Avila, Cabrera, and then J.D. Martinez due up for the Tigers. Well, at this point, if you're Brad Ausmus, you have to be frustrated because, as you point out, they were trying to get the lefty Bell ready as quickly as possible than just to pitch too long.
That's exactly right. And you go 3-1 out to 7-1. And Bell had better be perfect from here on out if the Tigers have any kind of chance. And they may not. This game already blown wide open. Faria needs to continue to pitch as if it's a tight game. Don't stray from the game plan. Continue to do what you planned on doing. And he will. You know, that's the one thing that we see with this Rays pitching staff is when they get a big lead, they do not change their approach. They stay consistent.
Avila takes it upstairs. 3-1. Avila having a very good year for the Tigers. He's done some catching, some DHing, and he is hitting.
And hitting everywhere. You know, we've seen him pull some balls in this series and hit them hard. We saw him hit a home run to straightaway left field. So he's using the whole field, and yeah, all the time we talk about that, guys tend to put up numbers.
Fly ball lifted into left, and Dickerson is there waiting. That's the first out in the bottom of the third. Here's Miguel Cabrera. Faria walked him in the first inning, the one walk he's given up. Jake has not been quite as sharp as he was in his first two games, but trying to calm this outing down a little bit. Pitch is low, 1-0.
Yeah, still plenty of time to find it. You know, he set the bar so high those first two starts because of how good he was and how he settled in so quickly. And you're going to have some games where things don't go as quite as smoothly out of the gate, but you need to just, you know, you just continue to battle, make pitches, and do what you can to stay in the game. You know, we've seen that a number of times with Alex Cobb. He's had a couple of games where things have gotten a little wobbly, but he finds a way to get deeper into the game and give you a chance to win.
Ball 2, 2-1. Here on Cabrera. Yeah, he's just 3 for 12 first pitch strikes, which is the exact opposite of his first two starts.
Yeah, that's a dangerous way to pitch. Now, if you're able to come back and get that second strike, you're on your way. But boy, being up in the count 0-1 really opens the door on what you can do with your arsenal. And Faria's got a pretty extensive arsenal. 4 pitches, all pretty good.
And he comes back to strike out Cabrera. So that's the second out, and a nice job after falling behind.
Caught him by surprise. That breaking ball, and Cabrera decides to pull the trigger late. And everything was just out of rhythm. A little bit late on that. Second out.
J.D. Martinez. And that is a strike. He could not hold in time. So there's a first pitch strike.
And remembering the first at bat, he did go too far. Not identifying the pitches from Faria very well. You know, he was able to power a couple of fastballs middle of the plate, strike him out on one. Didn't recognize the slider there. just not able to get to those fastballs that he normally does.
It's an 0-2 count right now.
0-1 is nice. 0-2.
Much better.
Oh. Whatever you want.
And a cut and a miss, so he's out on 3 pitches right there. A 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 4th. It's 7-1 Tampa Bay. Today's Unlimited Baseball break is brought to you by T-Mobile. The Rays with a new addition. He'll join the team tomorrow. Trevor Plouffe comes over from the Oakland A's. 8 seasons in the big leagues with over 100 career home runs, and he should give the Rays some offense from the right side. A right-handed hitter and a guy who can play third or first. Started his career as a middle infielder, and there's some talk about maybe some time in the outfield as well, so we'll see how all that works. Daniel Robertson lifts this one into center and down 0-1. He goes out to Presley with a fly ball, 1 away. So the Rays will need to make a roster move, a 25-man roster move. He's on the 40-man with Matt Andriese going to the 60-day DL. So Plouffe should be with the club tomorrow.
Yeah, the Rays desperate for some help against left-handed pitching. You know, just 8-16 is their record against left-handed starters. You start to think about David Price in Boston, Chris Sale. You know, you go down the list, these teams that you're competing with. And so you need to reinforce, and it will be interesting, very interesting, to see how Kevin Cash fits him into this team, because you talk about the corner positions. Well, that's Morrison, Longoria, kind of stuck there. You got second base. Daniel Robertson's been doing a nice job, and Brad Miller could be coming back, you know, at any time. And so to get his bat in the lineup against lefties, be interesting.
Chop left side. Castellanos cuts to his left to make the play, and Norris is out. Third to first.
The thing is if he continues to swing the bat well against lefties, and he's always, you know, had good numbers against lefties, you'll find a way to get him in there. You've got to do something to turn around that record.
Yeah, it potentially could be a very interesting move with Plouffe, and so we'll see how it turns out. But for exactly the reasons that you just addressed, the Rays wanted to get a right-handed bat, and a bat with some occasional pop in it as well. It's strike one to Malik Smith. You know, the Rays have gone about, I think this year, maybe a little more than certainly last year and a couple seasons past. It appears that they've attempted to develop a little more depth. You know, I think last year was a lesson in that, where the Rays really struggled when it came to injuries, and particularly when Kiermaier went down. And so depth and balance on this roster is what the Rays are trying to achieve.
Well, you know what? And kudos for realizing that you didn't have it last year. You know, there are some teams that will do that year in and year out and just never make the adjustment. The Rays say, hey, wait a minute, we got caught a little bit last year. We're going to do it differently this year. And there is depth. You look at some of these guys, you know, you get Trevor Plouffe on this team. Wilson Ramos comes back. Think about what the bench is going to look like. I mean, Kevin Cash is going to have some options coming off the bench late in games where there's not much drop-off, if any.
I mean, you look at all those guys in that shot we just had up. They've all contributed in significant ways. There is a base hit the other way. Smith around first, and oh, he slides, falls down, and now he'll scramble. No play at first, but that didn't make any difference to Smith. He was scrambling to get back into first base.
Well, he's thinking too the whole way, as he should. But he saw the plays out in front of him, and Justin Upton is going to get to that ball quickly, and yeah, trying to put the brakes on.
Yeah, there's sometimes when he appears to actually outrun the spinning of the earth, and that happens. I mean, he's fast and quick, and now has a 10-game hitting streak on top of that.
Hey, his triple in this series, they got him, you know, 10.5 seconds to third. I mean, you talk about low flying.
Here's Corey Dickerson. The pitch to him is a strike. Two outs with a base hit now. Smith at first. Rays facing Chad Bell in relief of Buck Farmer, left-hander out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Keeping an eye on Smith at first. Rays scored 2 in the first on the home run by Logan Morrison, and then 5 runs in the third inning on a home run by Derek Norris, and a grand slam by Steven Souza Jr. Breaking ball stays up and in. Chases this one. Now it's 1-2.
I'll tell you, Bell very deliberate to the plate, and if Malik Smith can pick the right pitch to run on, he should be able to steal second base rather easily. It might be a moot point now, but time-wise, this is a good matchup for Malik. Helps Bell a little bit being a lefty, but we've not seen a very good pickoff move yet. An easy read from Alex.
And he's back in standing on that toss over there. Rays have had runners in 3 of the first 4. Scoring 2 in the first, 5 in the third.
Well, it's still early enough too. 6-run lead. You're not going to sit and play station to station. This might be a time to go.
He is on the move. The pitch is a ball and no throw. A stolen base there by Smith as the count goes to 2-2 on Corey Dickerson.
Now that's a great job by Malik. You know, reads a couple of moves from Bell, realizes there's not really a good move there, and he's not quick to the plate.
So Smith now 8 of 10 in the steal department. Rays have a couple stolen bases in this game. And there's a base hit into left. Upton charges in shallow left to make the pickup, and Smith has to stop at third.
Let's go back to the highlight and let's show where this pitch was located. Dickerson does it again. It's not a strike. Not a strike. It's down and away. I mean, where do you go with this guy? We've seen a lot of guys attack him up and in. Down and away is not working, fellas. He's wearing out the left fielder. Well, he's impressive.
So 3 for 3 today for Dickerson. Evan Longoria has a shot. Evan hit by a pitch in the third, takes the ball in. First 5 Rays hitters in the lineup now, a combined 6 of 10 against Detroit pitching. And the one hit they have from the lower part of the order was the home run by Derek Norris. 2-0. Home run for Norris, his 8th of the year. Souza hit number 13, the grand slam, and Morrison hit number 20. That will be a strike. 2-1. Well, 3-1. Morrison on deck. Runners on the corners. Ooh, and a big cut right there. Slider up, and the count goes to 3-2.
Yeah, you get something like that in a 3-1 count, and a hitter's going to turn it loose, which is what Evan Longoria did right there. 3-2 now. Runners at the corners. Dickerson off and running.
3-2 is ball 4. He checked in time, and the bases are loaded after the first 2 men had been retired. Single, stolen base, single, and a walk. The bases are filled with Rays runners. And here is Logan Morrison. Morrison hit a 2-run homer in the first, scored on the grand slam by Souza Jr. in the third. Up again in the 4th inning. As we mentioned earlier, he already has a grand slam this year. First pitch is a fastball for a strike. Rays now have 7 hits, 7 runs. And ground ball back of first, fair. Morrison racing to the bag, and Cabrera beats him there, and a tumble by Bell as he arrived. Got a little crowded over there at first base, and fortunately everybody appears to be okay. So the Rays will leave the bases loaded. This is the way that inning ended. 7-1 Rays.
Sports Sun, and we're coming to you from the Comerica Carousel. This isn't an ordinary merry-go-round. Instead of the usual horses, it features 30 hand-painted tigers, one of the great family attractions here at the ballpark. And Dwayne B.A., we're having a roaring good time.
Wow.
I like it.
I do too. I'm going to tell you what, she's not missing a trick here at the ballpark.
No.
She hit the Ferris wheel, the baseball Ferris wheel.
Yep.
She, you know, the merry-go-round, or the tiger go-round, whatever it is.
Yep.
But she did the hit. She did the hit from the, would you do that?
No.
Sit inside saddle, microphone, I would have gone tumbling off that thing.
Without question.
Yeah.
Yeah, there should be some extra hazard pay involved in that one.
Bonus.
Yeah.
No question.
Well, here's Justin Upton. He takes the first pitch for a strike. Upton, Castellanos, and then Presley. This pitch is popped up, foul, and out of play. So the count goes to 0-2. Upton has the run batted in. Upstairs. Well, the way Upton has driven in runs, good to face him to lead off an inning. Having a very good year for the Tigers.
He's starting to live up to that contract that he signed. Last year, a disappointing season, at least initially. That's why you just wonder with this Tigers team that there's so much potential through the lineup. You talk about how J.D. Martinez has been swinging the bat well, and Castellanos and Upton. Of course, they've got Cabrera. You know, you go right through, and they do score some runs. You know, they were third in the American League in runs per game. But that pitching is.
Let's not forget that their payroll is about $200 million.
Yes. Absolutely. And the guys getting paid the most are guys you'll never be able to move. Never be able to move.
Yeah, and in fact, they're still paying part of Fielder's contract, I think. Part of that is in the mix. Three and two here.
Oh, that's a backlog. A backlog of money owed. Oh, they were talking about Castellanos, you know, being a cornerstone of their future, but maybe not at third base, maybe at first. Well, you can't move him to first unless you take Cabrera and make him the DH. Well, you can't make him the DH because that's what Victor Martinez does, and he's on the payroll for a couple more years. I mean, there's nowhere to move all of these guys.
Swing and a miss, and that was a good fastball up to get Upton. 5 strikeouts now for Faria, the last 3 in a row.
Well, he's starting to hone in on the heater up, and then you think back the way that last inning ended with the split change.
Yep.
And the finish on that pitch. That's where you really can start to play with hitters.
Well, he went 3 pitches to J.D. Martinez, slider, fastball, change.
Yeah. With
that split, like see you later. And now he strikes out Upton. Here's Nick Castellanos. Strike 1. Castellanos ended the first with a couple of men on base when he hit a high pop fly to shallow right. This one now to play the other way. And it's an 0-2 count. Castellanos coming into this one hitting safely in 13 of his last 15. That pretty much covers the month of June so far with a 321 average in June. Started this game 233 overall and is out on strikes right there. 4 in a row, 4 consecutive strikeouts for Faria.
And again, it's the elevated fastball. Get ahead. This is what we were talking about early on with all of the first pitch balls and falling behind. You don't have that luxury. You got to work too hard to get back to 1 and 2. And boy, when you jump out in front and then all of a sudden you can expand zones. This is a team that's trailing, you know, big in this game, so they're looking to swing the bats to get back into it. You could take advantage of that aggressiveness.
Pitch is a strike. So first pitch strike now to Presley. And it's an 0-2 count here. All 6 of his strikeouts, by the way, have been swinging.
Well, yeah, this team, like I said, this team looking to get back into it. They're not going to sit the bat on their shoulder. And now, once again, up 0-2, starting to really settle into this game a little bit. Oh,
man, how about that? Strike 3, and he strikes out the side. He is hot right now. Rays lead 7-1. said Steven Souza Jr. is something special. Well, he has done something special. Let's go back to Mother's Day when he homered and said, "Mom, that's for you." Well, today he hits a grand slam on Father's Day and says, "Hey, Dad, that's for you." How about that for Steven Souza Jr.?
I mean, I'm speechless. I'm not usually that's so awesome. And it's so Souza.
Oh, it's perfect for him. If you could pick one guy who ought to do that on this team, it would be Steven Souza Jr. And he takes the first pitch leading off the fifth. That's in there for a strike. Well, the scouting report on him is if you throw him a slider on Mother's Day or Father's Day, look out. He got the home run at Fenway off Robbie Ross Jr. on a slider. There's a ball hit up the middle. A backhand play is going to retire him. Kinsler got there, and Souza's out to begin the fifth.
You know what, Dwayne? I don't think that was not Robbie. That was not what do we call him? Monster truck.
Yeah.
It was the other. It was the El Camino guy. Hembry.
So
yeah,
I'll go back and check that.
Yeah. I think it was. I think it was Hembry. He was one of the crew. We got the two guys with the car, monster truck, and then the.
And here is Colby Rasmus. The pitch is a strike. Well, he hit the grand slam today. And this one is fouled away. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was Hembry. There's a swing and miss. And Rasmus is out of there. Yeah, that was on that long game in Boston.
The bad weather.
Yeah.
The sloppy weather.
Well, we had a little rain delay here, and the weather's beautiful now.
Yeah.
So let's not even go there.
No, that was the. Yes, you're right.
And here's Tim Beckham. That pitch is a strike. One ball, one strike. Pitch is fouled out of play. So now 1-2. And a souvenir. Look at that. Pure joy.
I was going to say, don't you love genuine excitement?
Yeah, that's great.
Cannot believe what he has. And high five Mom rather aggressively.
And Dad, thanks for bringing me down.
Yep.
2 balls, 2 strikes to count here on Tim Beckham.
I still can't believe that all of the games that I went to at Cleveland Municipal Stadium as a kid with nobody in the stadium, I never even came close to getting a foul ball. And there was nobody ever there. It really wasn't. Never came close.
Well, you never went to a game that had Corey Dickerson getting 5 at bats and fouling more pitches away than anybody. So
I think
got a lot of that going on.
That definitely played a role. Also, the quality of the seats that my parents put us in, nowhere near ball range. Thanks Thanks, guys.
It was a foul ball. Like the guy the other day. Yeah, how about that? I'm so grateful. Thanks. Gee, thanks, Dad. Yeah, well, we learned the other day from that guy who's had like 170 foul balls. It's all about positioning.
And how about that? There's got to be something to that, because he gave an explanation and it came right to him, and he made the play with the shirt on.
Yeah.
That was pretty impressive.
He's the guy who should be in charge of all the shifts. Swinging and a miss. Beckham out of there. 1, 2, 3. Go the Rays. They have the lead here. It's 7-1 Tampa Bay. We welcome you back to Detroit. Comerica Park, for the Rays have built a 7-1 lead. Tigers got their run in the first. Jake Faria doing the pitching for the Rays today. And he started the first couple of innings still looking for that groove, and seems to have found it now. A lot of first pitch strikes over the last couple innings, and 5 consecutive strikeouts. 7 in the game. James McCann, the catcher, the number 8 hitter, leads it off here. Pitch is fouled right back into the screen. McCann, then Machado, Dixon Machado, and Ian Kinsler due up. One and one. He's ahead 1-2. Boy, what a difference this has made. He got through the first. Gave up the 2-out base hit in the second inning. And that's been it. Upstairs, 2-2.
Now, you try to get that chase up in the zone, and he's been getting it here with these Tiger hitters. McCann doesn't go for it, so immediately you think slider or that changeup, something that's down. You've raised the eye level, you've sped him up on a pitch that was close, and now you lower it right back in the zone, and really you could go with either one, because the slider and the changeup, they've both been very good. You're not going to go with the slider.
And the count is full.
Pretty good take there by McCann, too. 2 tough pitches back to back.
It's popped up. Foul ball. Norris throws the mask away, and he'll make the catch. First man retired here in the 5th. 1 out into the 5th for 23-year-old Jake Faria.
Well, trying to settle in, early in this ball game, and he was falling behind a lot of hitters in that 1st inning. But since then, he has found his groove. He has found the strikeout. But you see those fastballs up in the zone, he's chasing, and then all of a sudden, there's the changeup to Presley. He gets him looking, the only strikeout looking, and he really has dialed it in here. Got the big lead, and is now putting these Tigers away, one after the other.
And the first pitch strike into Machado.
You really couldn't, at this point, and there's a lot of baseball left to play, you couldn't have scripted a game any better. Early lead, big lead, pitcher settles in.
Oh, there's a bouncing ball, and will get through the open right side. Robertson on the shortstop side of second, and Machado picks up his 2nd hit, just chopping it through.
Well, you give an opposing hitter a big target over there on the right side when you want to play the shift, and there's obviously a lot of good reasons for it, but at the same time, you do have an open right side. Logan Morrison there to try to take away part of it, but Machado finds the open, and there's a base hit.
Now the top of the order, Ian Kinsler. Pitch is too low. Kinsler has popped to second and lined to center field. One and one. Yeah, what we've seen over the last 3+ innings has been more of what we saw in the first 2 games from Jake Faria. And he drops that one in there for a strike call. 1 and 2.
Really like how in control of himself he is. Just very calm out on the mound. We've talked about his mechanics. I love the linear nature of his mechanics. They're very simple. That allows him to throw all those pitches for consistent strikes.
Now 2 and 2.
You see right there him talking to himself. That pitch got away from him, and every once in a while those breaking balls, they'll slip out, back up sliders, curve balls that stay up, and you immediately have the feel for what you have to do to make the adjustment. You can see Faria talking himself through it right there on the mound. It's pretty cool.
And the fastball is fouled. Still the 2-ball, 2-strike count. Alex Avila is on deck. Three balls, 2 strikes. It's popped up. Will it be playable? foul ball. Morrison plenty of room, and he makes the catch for the second out. 2 gone with that runner. Machado still at first. Kinsler goes back to the dugout 0 for 3 so far. And Alex Avila, who's had a good series, will be the hitter. 1 for 2 today, and 6 for 15 in this series. He scored the Detroit run in the first, driven home by Justin Upton. Pitch is in there for a strike. Center field. Avila stays hot. Machado will turn second and hold. And Avila is 2 for 3.
So short and quick to the baseball. They're trying to crowd him here, and he just pulls the hands through and stays in the middle of the field. Alex Avila, he has been impressive this season. He's been impressive in this series.
I'll tell you, he's a completely different hitter than the times we saw him earlier with the White Sox. This guy is right on. His approach is textbook.
Yes.
And there's his dad, the executive VP of baseball ops and the GM here now with the Tigers.
You remember the holes in his swing.
Yep.
There were a lot of different areas, or a couple of different areas that you could go where the holes were huge.
Yep.
And boys, he closed those down.
He's impressive.
Yep.
I'll tell you, he's doing a lot of things right and getting hits.
Well, listen, your dad getting rid of you.
Yeah, he let him go.
Right.
And then brought him back.
Yeah, are you ready to play now? If you're ready to play, I'll bring you back.
Yeah. And we touched on it the other day. You know, he went through the concussion episode, and you can't help but think that that was part of all of that. And if he's completely over that, and his approach is different as well right now than when we saw him, he's a solid hitter. High fly ball, right center. Souza Jr. making the call. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left, and we're headed into the 6th inning, 7-1 Tampa Bay. Cincinnati in for a 3-game series, and we'll see Billy Hamilton on that club. Here in Detroit, the Rays hold a 7-1 lead. 1-0 the count to Daniel Robertson. Two balls, no strikes. Two and one. A fastball up and by him. Robertson has struck out, hit a fly ball to center. Two. Buck Farmer started, worked 2 1/3. Chad Bell has been on since then, allowing 2 hits and a walk, no runs. All 7 charged to Farmer. And that's strike 3 called on Robertson. So 3 consecutive strikeouts for Chad Bell, 4 overall. Jake Odorizzi will open the series for the Rays tomorrow against Scott Feldman. Amir Garrett pitches the middle game Tuesday for Cincinnati against Alex Cobb. Hadelman and Ramirez on Wednesday, and that's a midday game. The wrap-up game of that series against Cincinnati. First pitch strike to Derek Norris. One ball, 1 strike. Foul out of play, 1 and 2. Foul right back. It's a ball, 2 strikes. Norris lifts this one into center field. Presley is there to make the catch. So 2 up, 2 down. That's 6 in a row retired by Bell. And Malik Smith, who extended his hitting streak to 10 with a single in the 4th, will bat with the bases empty here in the 6th inning. The breaking pitch is in for a strike. That's a strike, and it's 0-2. And a cut and a miss. Another 1-2-3 inning for Bell. Back-to-back innings. We go to the bottom of inning 6. 7-1 Tampa Bay.
You know, I'm not responsible for her life by any means. That's my wife's job. But just to watch her grow up, run around, you know, say "Go, Daddy," all that stuff. Yeah, it's cool.
Logan Morrison's thoughts on being a dad and a pretty good run producer for the Rays. Opened the scoring with a home run in the first inning, getting to the number 20 mark.
It's been an impressive first, well, 2.5 months for Logan Morrison. We've obviously talked about the way that his season got off last year, but he closed strong, and I don't think, you know, even though he closed strong and then re-signed with the team, I think anybody anticipated this. When you look at his career numbers and his the high water mark being 23 home runs, and that was probably 5-6 years ago. And boy, he's already sitting at 20, middle of June. He's been something else.
1-0 the count to J.D. Martinez, bottom of the 6th underway. There's a big cut and a foul ball back on a fastball. The right-hander Jake Faria on the hill for the Rays, just 23 years old. And there's a strike. It's 1-2. Faria with 5 innings under his belt. The 1 run came in the first when Upton drove in Alex Avila. It's fouled back, still 1-2. Faria making his 3rd big league start here against the Detroit Tigers today. Looking for a win to join Jeremy Hellickson as the only pitcher in Rays history to this point to win his first 3 career games all as a starting pitcher. So if he can finish this one off and the Rays preserve this game, there's a swing and a miss, and he gets him again on strikes.
I'll tell you, you know, he was a little bit rocky in the early going. He settles in nicely. This is the final result, the slider here down and away. But it was the previous pitches, and specifically the one right before that, the fastball that's up and away that Martinez goes after, swings and fouls off. Then you start a slider out of that same slot, and he goes after it, and it's moving in a completely opposite direction. I'll tell you, his ability to move the pitches around the zone, set them up, is fun to watch. It really is, and we haven't even seen a lot of the changeup today, which is a big pitch in his arsenal.
Here's Justin Upton. It's inside, 1-0. Yeah, you're right about the changeup. And interestingly enough, as you might expect, he's probably going to use that more against left-handed hitters than right-handed hitters. But in the prior at bat, when Martinez was up there, he finished him off, the right-handed hitter, with that changeup.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good enough pitch that whether or not at this point in his career he throws it, a lot to right-handers, he's capable of it.
Yep.
And so you build that confidence in that pitch. Of course, the slider, that's a great pitch too. But boy, if you have both, wow, now what? You add another element that a hitter has to think about, and that split changeup is good enough to throw against anybody. The finish on that pitch, the arm action that he has with it.
3-1 the count on Upton. Foul right back. Came with a 3-1 fastball. Upton fouled it, and so the count is full. 5 hits allowed by Faria. Gave up a walk to Cabrera in the first, and that's the only walk he's allowed. Pops him up, short right. Morrison out. Souza Jr. coming in, and Souza's there to make the catch. Morrison has made some great plays, leaving first base with his back to the infield. The degree of difficulty very high on that one, and so it's good that Souza was there to make the grab.
No question about it. Look at Morrison. Yeah, he has been very good on the pop-ups, but he's getting turned around here, and then he hears Souza Jr. call him off. Wisely gets out of the way of the charging Souza. Maybe coming forearm high. Who knows?
Yeah. You don't want to be in the way of a charging Souza. Nick Castellanos.
I saw that one time on Animal Planet, and it was not pretty.
Yeah, you want to avoid being Souza if you can. We've seen Steven Souza Jr. Souza himself at times, which is exciting but a little harrowing, all rolled into one. 2-0 the count on the Tigers' third baseman. Ball drilled back into left, and Dickerson's going to be right there for it. A 1-2-3, sixth. On to the seventh. It's 7-1, Tampa Bay. Fox Sports Sun brought to you by your Southern Chevy dealers. By Jeep. Get great deals at the Jeep Spring Clearance event. And Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Braves lead 7-1. On to the 7th inning we go with Corey Dickerson carrying a 3-for-3 day to the plate. Jake Faria has been very good again. Excellent touch for a run in the first, and essentially not much of a threat at all since then. And now the Rays face Chad Bell again here in the 7th with Dickerson going after the first pitch. He pops it up foul. McCann will have room, and he makes the catch. It's the first out in the 7th. Now Evan Longoria, 36,442 here in Detroit today. This park continues to be a beautiful setting with the skyline in the background. Rain early and nothing since the delay. There's a drive high and deep to left off the bat of Longoria, and that one is out of here. Longoria jumping on the first pitch sends it sailing, his 10th home run of the year, the 4th of the game for the Rays, and it's now 8-1. Long home run by Longoria.
Well, that's what this offense is capable of. 4th homer of the day. Boy, a mistake there that was just carried out of here. No doubter. Boy, great extension. That's a pretty picture right there of a blast. This Rays offense, well, they can hit the ball out of the park.
Now here's Morrison, and he hits one deep to right, and that one's going to go. The Rays have gone back-to-back again today. 2nd home run of the game for Logan Morrison. So on consecutive pitches, the Rays have hit home runs. Longoria and Morrison, 5 home runs on the day. RBI number 3 of this game for Morrison.
And that percentage of runs batted in via the home run climbs even higher. Morrison again, and the Rays back-to-back again. I think this is a franchise record, tying record. I think that was
9.
Yeah.
9 times this year the Rays have gone back-to-back with home runs. And the pitch to Steven Souza Jr. outside.
Yeah, that's the next promotion that the Rays should do. The Rays should have a promotion at home where anybody that buys a seat in the outfield, that you get a glove. Because you're going to be catching them. That's what they do.
Well, it's Longoria and Morrison here in the 7th back-to-back. 3rd time that Morrison has been involved in back-to-back home runs, and the 2nd time that Longoria and Morrison have teamed up. There's a base hit into left off the bat of Steven Souza Jr. So 3 consecutive hits here with 1 out in the 7th. So the Rays have a man at first with 1 out and 2 runs home here on back-to-back home runs by Longoria and Morrison. And Souza Jr. with a base hit. Longoria and Morrison hit back-to-back home runs against the Twins in Minnesota on the 28th of May. And today Longoria and Morrison on back-to-back pitches have hit back-to-back home runs.
Give up a base hit to left field, and Chad Bell taking an awful long time here in between pitches.
Well, some action up in the bullpen.
Now, when you start to talk about pace of play, that's what you're talking about. Let's go.
Now, Colby Rasmus looks for his first hit of the day. Pitch inside. Two runs in the first, 5 in the third, and 2 more in the 7th so far. Rasmus fouls it back. Action in the bullpen for Detroit. Lord Supple is up. He pitched earlier in this series. A Tapper foul. It's 1-2. A 9-1 ball game right now. And the Tapper is fouled. Rays have led 2 out with 2 in the first, and then the Tigers came back with a run. They left 2 men on in the first, and the Rays had that big 5-run third. Home runs here in the 7th to extend it to 9-1. Rasmus out on strikes for the 3rd time today. 6 strikeouts for Bell. Rays in 7-Eleven offering a $7.11 ticket to Rays fans. Visit a local participating 7-Eleven store and pick up a Rays discount coupon for the game Friday against the Orioles. Keep saving with $5 Budweiser and Bud Light drafts exclusively on the Budweiser porch. Ages 21 and over. Please drink responsibly. Rays up. Tim Beckham up right now for the Rays. 2 outs and a man on in the 7th. Pitch in on Beckham, and he fouls it back. Rays came in 4-2 against the Tigers. They swept the Tigers earlier this year at Tropicana Field 3 straight, and had dropped 2 of the first 3 in this series, trying to get out of town with a split and go home with a break-even road trip as well.
It's funny though, even though the record, if they do indeed hold on here, we'll get to that later.
Ground ball down to 3rd. The force play at 2nd ends it. But the Rays add 2 more on back-to-back home runs, consecutive pitches for Evan Longoria and Logan Morrison. It's 9-1 Tampa Bay. been a big home run day for the Rays, and it started early with Logan Morrison's 2-run shot in the first inning. They got out of the first leading 2-1. Eric Norris made it 3-1 with a homer in the third, and then the grand slam off the bat of Steven Souza Jr. capped a 5-run third. Rays adding 2 more in the 7th when Evan Longoria took one deep to left, and Logan Morrison on the very next pitch hit one out to right, building a 9-1 lead.
And then we got this guy who just continues to quietly put down Tiger hitters, work efficiently. Once again, getting into the 7th inning. He did that his first 2 starts.
And the Rays are going to make some changes. Peter Borges is in the game now in left field. So he takes over for Dickerson out there. Borges in left. Taylor Featherston is also in the game at third. So Evan Longoria leaves the game. So does Dickerson. Featherston at third and Borges in left. Alex Presley will open the bottom of the 7th inning against Jake Faria. 98 pitches for Faria. The first one is up a bit. Jake made 102 pitches in his outing against the Blue Jays in Toronto. He pitched 6 1/3 in that one. 95 against the White Sox in his major league debut. And at 100 pitches right now as Chase Whitley loosens in the bullpen. Check swing and a roller by the mound. Barehanded pick up and throw, and it's not going to be in time. Beckham could not get Presley at first, who has an infield hit.
Boy, that was close. Tim Beckham did everything that he could on that slow roller, even going to the bare hand. Presley can move, we know that. Little half swing, bare hand, man. Well, he got up that line so quickly, and he was there. You know, Logan Morrison is the giveaway too, because a lot of times on those close plays, if he's convinced that the Rays got him, he immediately points in the dugout, take a look, and that time he kind of slammed the ball into his glove like, yeah, that call's right, he was safe.
Here's James McCann, the catcher. Just a little bit of that one fouled. Strike one. One ball, one strike. Here's the pitch breakout. He had the 28 pitch first, and everything else has been right in line. 20 in the 5th. Pitch is foul. Faria came into this game through his first 2 big league starts, averaging 15.6 pitches per inning, which is a good rate.
Yeah, it really is. You know, 15 is, you know, ideal. How many guys actually do that, though? Very rare that you come across that. You know, that's more of a spring training. You know, you're going to get 30 pitches for 2 innings, 45 for 3, and so on and so forth. But really not reality. to have a pitcher hanging around at 15. So being 15-6, he'd like that number. Maybe even Chris Archer, who's just a hair over 16, but with the number of strikeouts that he gets,
that's an amazing number.
It really is.
2-2 here. And a big cut and a miss. That takes care of McCann.
I'll tell you what, Faria having a really nice day here via the strikeout. And, you know, that's not something that's uncommon for him. When you look at his numbers this year in Durham, you know, he had 84 strikeouts in 58 2/3 innings. So no stranger to that. Having a big one here today.
9 strikeouts in a 9-1 game. Dixon Machado. This pitch upstairs. Slider up. One and one. Foul out of play now, 1-2. Kinsler, the top of the order, is on deck. Faria trying to finish off his 3rd time through the lineup here. He's 1-2 to the number 9 hitter Dixon Machado. Young infielder out of Venezuela. Ground ball shortstop. Out at second, out at first. Beckham, Robertson to Morrison. And so the 7th inning comes to a completion with the Rays leading 9-1. The Rays have this big lead here in Detroit on what has turned out to be, in more ways than one, a beautiful game and a beautiful day. This game rain delayed about 31 minutes or so. As we go to the 8th, Andrew Romine's in the game at second now, with John Hicks replacing Cabrera at first. And Mikey Montook also in this game in left field. Upton departs. And Warwick Sopholt is on the hill, pitcher number 3. First pitch hit on the ground off the bat of Robertson, picked up by Romine, who throws him out. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 8th. The 11th appearance for the Tiger right-hander. 1-1 with a .289 earned run average. The Rays saw him for 2 innings in the game here Friday. Bell 4 2/3, 5 hits, couple of runs, gave up 2 home runs. Here's Norris, who sends a high fly ball toward right center, and that's caught by the center fielder Presley out there. 2 up, 2 down. The center fielder, Alex Smith. Well, Malik Smith will be up here. He's extended his hitting streak to 10 with a 4th inning single and then a steal of second. He's 1 for 4.
And that 10-game hitting streak, that's a career high. And we talked about it earlier in this game. He's more of your prototypical leadoff hitter throughout the history of this game. And what he brings.
This time is a chop to first.
That was a quick out.
Hicks makes the play unassisted. 4 pitches. We go to the bottom of the 8th.
Jacob Faria once again so impressive for the Rays. First 2 starts were very, very good. I'll tell you what, this one may have been even a little bit better. A lot of strikeouts, a lot of high fastballs. These Detroit Tiger hitters, desperate to try to get back in this game, could not handle, and he just continued to overpower them. The fastball, the slider. Didn't see too many changeups and not too many curveballs. I'll tell you what, you really didn't need to this afternoon. First inning, trying to get his footing, falling behind an awful lot. I think it was 2 out of 7. 2 out of, it's behind quite a bit. Or 1.
Well, and 1 out of the first 7. That's 3 out of the first 9.
That's right. So he was falling behind, and you could see the numbers right there. That led to some behind in the count opportunities for the Tigers. They were able to cash in for a run, but he slowly but surely got himself into the flow of the game and became dominant later in the game.
Yeah, great job again by the young right-hander. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Chase Whitley is on the hill. And the first pitch is foul back, strike one. 21st appearance for Whitley. 2-1 with a 3.07 as he works to Andrew Romine here.
With that opponent's average of just 194. The big reason why is this pitch that's coming, the changeup. And I'll tell you, Chase Whitley has a good one. Great arm action. It's got some sinking action to it, and very difficult for hitters to pick up.
Well, the hitters tell you how good it is by how far they miss it, how much out in front. It's really amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, he gets you two ways, which is what's impressive. He gets you on the change of speed, so you're out in front, but then with the late finish, you're way over the top. So you're missing it in two planes. And that's what makes that pitch so special.
It's a ball, 2 strikes to Romine. So again, Faria, 7 innings, a run, 6 hits, 9 strikeouts, a walk. He made 110 pitches, 69 for strikes, and working 7 innings. And there's Romine missing that pitch again.
Just waving at it. Don't feel bad. A lot of guys do. Here it is. We see that arm action. He really sells it. He gives effort behind that pitch, and he lets the grip take care of the loss of the speed and really the finish. Just let the grip do it. It's like a golf club.
You know, that last shot was a great shot of his delivery and making the point that you just made. You made it verbally, he made it physically there. I mean, that was just a great shot. If you're going to throw that changeup, what that's all about.
It really is a 4-seam fastball mentality.
Yeah.
And you let, like I said, you let the grip do the work. You throw with the mindset, I'm going to blow this by you. Here comes my 4-seamer. I'm going to challenge you with it. But your grip won't allow that. And that's what you have to convince yourself as a pitcher. You see a lot of guys with a changeup, you know, they'll slow their body down. They'll slow their arm down. They're trying to throw a changeup. No, no, no. You grip a changeup, you throw a fastball.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think that's, I think there's genius in the simplicity to that approach. It just makes all the sense in the world. 2 strikes the count on Alex Avila. Whitley facing a very hot hitter right now. Avila picking up hits and looking good in the process.
There it is. Get your grip and let her rip.
1-2.
And we're kind of spoiled too, because you know that was a big pitch for me throughout my career, and then you know we're here part of an organization where, I mean, how many good changeups and how many different styles of changeups do the guys have on this roster? Fun to watch. It's the only pitch that mimics another. You know, it mimics the fastball. You know, the slider's got its own spin, its own break. Curveball, its own spin, its own break. But the changeup, oh, look at Logan Morrison trying to make that play.
Yeah, he was trying to get that ball in fair territory.
But the changeup is just, it mimics the fastball. It doesn't get there. And a lot of times it has a little bit of sinking action to it. Sometimes a lot of sinking action.
Avila has scored the Detroit run that came in the first. So 2-2 count. John Hicks on deck. He's hitting out of the third spot vacated by Miguel Cabrera. First appearance in this series for Whitley here in relief of Faria. And that upstairs start of a move there on the fastball by Avila, but he checked. So we're at 3-2 now. And that one just messed up a bit. Came with a fastball and walks him. That's only the second walk issued by Rays pitching today.
And Whitley was way up in that count, but that shows you how locked in Avila is. You know, swinging the bat well, but also taking close pitches, seeing the ball well.
You know, the Rays seemingly here pretty much on the way to a split. They have not given up a lot of walks to this Detroit ball club. Only 2 in the game Thursday, started by Alex Cobb. Hicks swings and misses the changeup, strike 1. And in that lopsided game Friday, when the Tigers won 13-4, they walked only 3 times in that one, and one of those was an intentional walk. Archer walked 1 yesterday. Diaz walked 1 in relief. And now 2 walks today by Rays pitching. 1 by Faria, 1 by Whitley. An 0-2 count on Hicks. Little tap right side. Whitley's going to cover, and Morrison with the toss. Into second goes Avila. So 2 gone here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Jake Odorizzi will be on the hill for the Rays. We'll hear from him. Joey Votto comes in, leading the Cincinnati Reds, and Orestes will break down that left-handed swing, and it's a good one.
Well, yes,
a classic swing.
A discerning eye.
J.D. Martinez down to third. Featherston up with it, and a throw to first in time. We're going to go into the 9th inning with the Rays leading 9-1. On Fox Sports Sun is brought to you by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. By Just for Men, try new Aqua Velva 5-in-1 aftershave balm. And by Jeep. Get great deals at the Jeep Spring Clearance event. We haven't seen Alex since that incident on the Tiger go-round there.
I hope she's all right.
Check to make sure she's okay.
Yeah. She was being all reckless on the ride.
Yeah.
And then a no-show.
The left-hander, Daniel Stump, lefty out of Humble, Texas, takes over on the hill. And the Rays here in the 9th inning will have Peter Borges to lead it off. Borges takes the pitch for a ball. 3 home runs for the Rays outfielder. Fly ball into short right. Here comes Martinez in, and he's going to make the catch on the move. Well, we found Alex, and let's check in with her right now, make sure she's okay.
Well, Dwayne B.A., I was trying to get into the Detroit Athletic Club, and when I dropped your names, they wouldn't let me in.
Yeah, that's the first big mistake right there.
That is
dropping our names anywhere.
Hey, happy Father's Day, by the way, you guys.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No, but in all seriousness, we tried to go out there to do a story, and it's very private. They would not let us in. So next time we'll have to, book in advance and see what we can do.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it is, because that would be cool to get up there, especially when they won't let you in. That's when it's like a kid.
Yeah.
They don't want you to go. Now you really want to get in there.
Yeah, that's why we'll really work on that now.
Well, she came after us pretty strong, Dwayne.
We're learning that, she has that in her nature.
Oh.
Which is kind of good. I like that.
She's got a little tiger. She'll throw the claws out. We've seen it.
Here's Featherston lifting a fly ball toward right center. And Martinez getting a little workout here. First in into his left, and now back into his right toward right center field as he chases that one down. The 2 outs in the 9th inning. There's Tommy Hunter busy in the Rays bullpen. Chase Whitley worked the 8th. 7 excellent innings from Faria. Gave up a couple of hits and a walk in the first and a run. And after that, nothing. Scattered a few hits along the way. And didn't walk anyone after the first. Well, here's Logan Morrison, who's homered, walked, and homered again. Goes after this one and lifts a high pop foul. Castellanos is there and makes the catch. The Rays are out in order in the 9th. Bottom of the 9th, coming 9-1 Tampa Bay.
Rewarding. We play a pretty tough game, and there's a lot of failure involved, and just being able to go home and see them smiling, and that just it kind of puts everything in perspective.
Well, the Rays move into the bottom of the 9th inning. Tigers coming in to hit. It's a 9-1 ball game here. Rays very efficient. 9 runs, 10 hits. You can be efficient when you hit 5 home runs. And now Tommy Hunter makes his 21st appearance of the year.
Well, the ERA of 2.55, 17 2/3 innings. Yeah, Tommy Hunter, he's going to feature the big fastball. It sits around 96, 97 miles an hour, a hard cutter, strike thrower.
He'll face Mikey Matuk to open the bottom of the 9th inning. First pitch, Matuk goes after it and pops it up foul. Norris back to the screen, and it's going to be just out of play. 1 strike to count. You know, after all the rain delay and that slow start, we had a chance to play a game in under 3 hours, but it's going to have to end in the next 2 minutes to do that.
Well, the way the guys have been swinging the bat the last couple of innings, you still have a chance. I'd say it's like the Rays, you cannot wait to get home, jumped out to a big lead, and then have been making short work of the Tigers.
1-1 the count on Matuk. It's lined up the right side into the seats, a foul ball. 1-2. Castellanos will be next, then Presley due up. And that's a ball down, 2-2. Well, we're down to a minute.
We may not be able to make it. Not with the walk-up music.
Yeah,
got to enjoy that.
We do, and we should at this point. When Castellanos steps in there, we should just wait for the walk-up music and enjoy it in all its full glory.
We'll just lay out.
Yep. With 2-2 to Matuk, and he got him swinging. So that's out number 1. 11 strikeouts for Rays pitching. Here's Nick Castellanos. This musical interlude has been brought to you courtesy of Nicholas Castellanos, who steps in now with 1 out and the base is empty.
And that choice of song will guarantee him an over.
As proclaimed by our music critic, Brian Anderson. 1 strike to count to Castellanos. He's trying to bring a little culture. It's a challenge, but we're trying. And a foul right back, 0-2. Seven innings for Faria, 1 for Whitley. Hunter 1 out into the bottom of the 9th inning. And we're not going to get that 3-hour or under 3-hour game in. We're a minute over right now. This one is down, a ball, 2 strikes. It's been a good day for the Rays, and they will have finished this road trip on the upbeat with a 9-run output, 5 home runs. They'll get back to 2 games over 500, finish 3-3 on this road trip, and head home to open the series tomorrow night against the Cincinnati Reds. Grand slam, the first of his career for Steven Souza Jr. today. 2-2 to Castellanos. 2 home runs by Logan Morrison.
We talked about him maybe breaking his own personal record, career high home runs by the All-Star break. He may do that by the end of this next homestand.
Castellanos lifts the fly ball into right. Souza Jr. takes care of that. So 2 up, 2 down in the 9th inning against Tommy Hunter. And Alex Presley's on his way to the plate.
Now he may get a hit here.
Presley had a hit in the 7th inning. Hit the ball by the mound and past the Rays shortstop Tim Beckham. Fouls the first pitch now. That's a strike.
He went with a little Pearl Jam. Eddie Vedder, huge baseball fan.
Yep.
Huge baseball fan.
Yes, he is. A little tapper foul first base side. 0-2. The Rays come out indeed a strike away from finishing this one off today. 2 in the first and 5 in the third. 2 more in the 7th. Those innings keyed by home runs. A 5 home run day for the Rays. Longoria 1, 2 for Morrison, 1 for Souza Jr. The slam, 1 for Norris. Presley fouls it back out of play.
I was going to say earlier about the road trip, and it looks like it's certainly going to end up 3-3. The fact that you win the last 2, a 500 road trip, overall you're not going to be very happy with it, but at the same time you win the last 2 games before heading back home. It does give you a good feeling heading into the next series, and the Rays have been good at home lately.
Another foul ball that's going to wind up out of play. Well, and on the next homestand, the Cincinnati Reds will be in, followed by the Baltimore Orioles.
You've got the Reds reeling. Baltimore has been reeling. You've been playing well at home. Have a chance to do some nice work.
And a cut to miss. That'll do it. A swing and a miss by Presley. 3 hours and 5 minutes the time of this game as the Rays come away with a 9-1 victory over the Detroit Tigers, hitting 5 home runs in the process. Faria gets the win. He's won his first 3 decisions as a starting pitcher for the Rays. He's 3-0. Farmer, the losing pitcher, 2-1 before 36,442. And the Rays go to 37-35 on the year. For Brian Anderson and Alex Cordry, Dwayne Stats, hope you've enjoyed the telecast. Rays are winners 9-1. Rays Live, the post game presented by WB Mason, comes your way next.